Good morning, students. Myself, K. Lakshmi, Assistant Professor in the Department of SNH, Chevron Engineering College. Title, Quantum Mechanics. Topic, Dual Nature of Matter. Actually, in the last session, we complete the second unit. So this is the third unit. In third unit, we have three subchapters. That is quantum mechanics. Second one is free electron theory of metals and band theory of solids. Out of these three units, the basic of this chapter is going on here. So today we discuss about what is the dual nature of the matter. So actually in quantum mechanics, we study about how the particles move with the energy of packets or quantum. Actually, this is the topic we have to useful to study about the fundamental particles like proton, electron, neutron, means microparticles. So what is the dual nature? Before we discussing about the dual nature, first we know what is the wave nature and what is the particle nature. To understand the wave and particle duality, it is necessary to know what is the particle nature and what is the wave nature. In particle nature, actually the particle is located at a particular point or in a space, or it may be moved from one place to another place. That transition is represented by either energy may be increase or decreases. So in overall, the particle nature is expressed in terms of particle mass. When it is moved from one place to another place, we can determine the velocity of the particle. Whenever the particle is moving, it has a momentum also. So, and it also having some energy. So simply, what are the characteristics of a particle means? Particles having mass, velocity, force, momentum, energy, like that. So these are the characteristics of the particle. That means particles possesses these characteristics. Whereas wave, actually wave means, so this is the, so this is the wave representation. So actually this wave is spread over a large region in a space. So how we explain the wave nature here? That is explained in terms of wave frequency, wavelength, and its a phase, its velocity, its amplitude, its a displacement, intensity. So these are the characteristics of waves. So particle characteristics are mass, velocity, momentum, force, energy, etc. And wave characteristics are frequency. That means the wave possesses frequency, wavelength, phase, amplitude. So what is meant by wave and particle duality? That means particle possessing both the particle nature, simultaneously wave nature. So this phenomena is nothing but dual nature of the particle. That means sometimes the particle behave as a wave. That means it is spread out over the space, and sometimes it behave as a particle. That means it is located at a point in the space. That means it may be spread as a wave or it may be located as a point. That means the particle behaves sometimes as a wave and sometimes it behaves as a particle. So that's why this nature is nothing but duality, wave particle duality. Now, already we discussed the properties of light, interference, diffraction, polarization. These phenomena of light gives the information light is a wave nature. So light is also having tiny particles. That means particles possesses wave nature also. So it gives a clear information. Particles possesses wave nature. And according to the phenomena of photoelectric effect, Compton effect, it concludes the particles having particle nature like mass, they have some velocity, momentum, like that. That means from the phenomena of interference, diffraction, polarization, light is a having wave nature, and also phenomena like photoelectric effect, Compton effect, they gives the radiations having particle nature also. So light is also a radiation. So the radiations having wave nature and the radiations having particle nature. So in the meaning, particles having both wave nature and particle nature. But here very important point is both the particle and the wave properties cannot exhibit simultaneously in one phenomena. That means here the interference pattern, diffraction, polarization phenomena gives the information about radiations are in wave nature. Whereas photoelectric effect, Compton effect gives the information radiations are having particle nature. But there is no, still there is no one experiment give the both properties at a time or simultaneously, that is wave and particle nature. So this is the one of the main drawback here. But even though radiation sometimes behave as a wave and some other times they behave as a particle, so this is called simply wave particle dualism. After that, de Broglie hypothesis explains about the what is a wave nature. He derived a new word, that is matter wave. So according to de Broglie hypothesis, when particle is associated with a wave, that means particle having wave nature, then that wave is nothing but matter wave. So whenever a particle moves with a waveform like that, it has some wavelength. The wavelength is represented by the expression lambda equal to h by mb, that equal to h by mb is nothing but mass into velocity, which is called momentum. So lambda is equal to h by p. Here m is called mass of the material particle and v is called velocity and p is the momentum. That means when particle is associated with a wave nature, simply it has matter wave, it is named as matter wave. So lambda is equal to h by m. Now let us prove that. According to Planck's theory of radiation, the Einstein energy expression is E is equal to h nu. Here nu is called frequency, h is called Planck's constant. So according to Planck's theory of radiation, the energy of the photon is also one of the particle. So the energy of the photon is expressed as E is equal to h nu, that equal to nu frequency we can written as c by lambda. So here c is called velocity of light in vacuum and lambda is called its wavelength. So E is equal to, we can written as hc by lambda. Now, according to Einstein energy mass relation, E is equal to mc square. So this is the expression basing on Planck's theory of radiation. This is the expression basing on Einstein's energy mass relation. So E equal to mc square. Now by comparing these two equations 1 and 2, we get hc by lambda equal to mc square. So here there is a simple cancellation, c and the square. Then we get by cross multiplying lambda and m cross multiply here, mc also. Then finally we got the expression for lambda, that is here also cancelled, h by mc. So what is mc here? Actually c is the velocity of light. It is actually constant. Its value is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So mass, the product of mass and the velocity is nothing but momentum. So here the photon is the particle. So this is the momentum associated with the photon. So simply we replace the mc value as a mv, and it is equal to h by p. So whatever we taking matter wave, this is the expression lambda is equal to h by p mv. Finally we get the h by p. So this is the derivation. So by comparing the Planck's theory of radiation energy and Einstein energy relation. So case 1, de Broglie's wavelength in terms of kinetic energy. That means actually in exam point of view, we have different kinds of expression for the wavelength. So this is the one of the expression of the wavelength, that is lambda is equal to h by mv. That means in problem point of view, if they given Planck's constant, mass and velocity of the particle, then we can calculate the de Broglie wavelength lambda by the expression lambda equal to h by mv. If the mode of the problem, that means if the given quantities are variable, then we select the formula for the de Broglie wavelength, different kinds. So this is the another case. That means another form of expression for the de Broglie wavelength. So let us discuss that. De Broglie's wavelength in terms of kinetic energy. Actually, E is the kinetic energy of the particle. So the expression for the kinetic energy is E equal to half mv square. So for our convenience here, we multiply the denominator and the numerator by m. Then we get 1 by 2 m square v square by m. If we cancel the m here, denominator and numerator, finally again we get the kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. So this is mv whole square. So mv is nothing but momentum. So we can written as p square by 2m. So E equal to p square by 2m. Now cross multiply that. Then p square is equal to 2me. Then we get p equal to square root of 2m. Now this expression is substituted here, equation 4. Lambda equal to h by p. Then we get lambda equal to h by p value is here, square root of 2me. Now substitute here. Then we get finally expression for the de Broglie wavelength lambda equal to h by square root 2me. That means in problem point of view, when we solved the problems, if the model problem having values of energy, mass, and Planck's constant, then we use the formula lambda equal to h by square root of 2me. That means depending upon the given values, we have to select the de Broglie wavelength formula. If mass and velocity are given, then we choose the formula equation number 4. Or in problem, mass and energy is given, then we choose this formula, that is lambda is equal to h by square root of 2me. That means equation 4, equation 5, both are expression for the de Broglie wavelength, but we select the formula basing on what are the quantities given in the problem. So there is another form of expression for the de Broglie wavelength. Now let us discuss that. Let us consider m0 is the rest mass of an electron and charge of electron is E. This electron is accelerated by a potential V from rest to velocity V. Then de Broglie wavelength is given by. So here potential indicated by this capital V, velocity is indicated small v here. Now mass of the electron is taking as m0, therefore lambda equal to h by square root of 2 m0 E. H by square root of, here E is the electric field. It is expressed as a small e into capital V. So here the V is called potential. Small e is called charge of the electron. So by replacing here this energy by small e into capital V. So here H is the Planck's constant. It is a constant value. 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. And the rest mass of the electron, that is also constant, equivalent to 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. E is the charge of the electron, that is also constant, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. Capital V is the potential. Now substitute these all constant values in this expression, that is h by square root of 2 m0 E capital V. So here the h value 6.625 into 10 power minus 34, the square root of 2 m0. So this is the m0 value and this is the E value. So m0 value is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 and C charge of the electrons E value is 1.6 into 10 power minus 90. And we cannot know the potential value here, just to simply write the outside here 1 by square root of V. Now by calculating these all values, finally we get the value 12.27 and there is a constant here square root of V. So this is the final expression for the de Broglie wavelength if potential is given. So once again we recall it. So what are the different expressions of the de Broglie wavelength? So de Broglie wavelength means simply de Broglie waves means or matter waves means particle is associated with a wave. Okay, it has various expressions. So according to Planck theory of radiation and Einstein energy mass relations, by equating equation 1 and 2, we get the expression for lambda, that is h by mc. Here c is called the velocity of light. So simply it is also velocity. Then we get lambda is equal to h by mv. And mv is called product of mass and velocity. That is momentum. So the de Broglie wavelength is expressed in lambda by hp, lambda by mv, that is called lambda equal to h by p. This is the one of the form of de Broglie wavelength. And another form of de Broglie wavelength is expressed by taking kinetic energy of the material. Kinetic energy of the material is E equal to half mv square. So here we multiply denominator and numerator by m, then half m square v square by m, then we get p square by 2m. Here actually mv is called momentum, so we can written as m square v square as a mv whole square, that is p square. So we get p square by 2m. By cross multiplying here, we get p value as a square root of 2mv. Now substitute this momentum expression in equation 4. We get the de Broglie wavelength lambda equal to h by square root of 2m. So this is the another form of de Broglie wavelength. And next form is, if a rest mass of the electron is m0 and charge of the electron is E and the potential is V volts. Now here the energy we can written as charge into potential. Here H value is constant, that is 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. M0 is the mass of the electron, that is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. E is the charge of electron, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. V is the potential. Now by substituting here, we get the, actually V is the potential. Finally, we get the another form of expression is 12.27 by square root V. Now, again, the definition of matter waves. According to de Broglie hypothesis, a material particle. So what is material particle here? Either electron, proton, all the particles. So here we named it as a material particle associated with the group of waves. When it is moving, these waves are called matter waves or de Broglie waves. That means simply here we call it electron or proton or neutron as a material particle. These material particles moves with a group of waves. So that means they associate with the group of waves. So that waves are nothing but matter waves or de Broglie wavelengths. So here we have some basic definitions. We entirely discuss some basic definitions. And also we discuss about the properties of matter waves also. So wavelength lambda. So all the matter waves or de Broglie waves having wavelength lambda is equal to h by mv. And what is the group velocity? A group of waves having de Broglie wavelength is associated with particle. This group must travel with the particle velocity. So it have so many particles having some velocity. That group of velocity of the matter waves is represented by Vg. Once again, I repeat here. What are the matter waves? Matter waves means material particles. So what are the material particles? Electron or proton. So the material particles associated with group of waves. That means group of waves means actually each and every particle move in the form of waves. So we have group of particles are there. So automatically we have group of waves. So that group of waves of the particles, of the material particles is nothing but matter waves. So the velocity of these matter waves is nothing but group velocity. Next, what is the phase velocity? Each wave of the group matter waves travel with a velocity known as phase velocity of the wave. So it is given by the expression omega by k. Here omega is called angular frequency and k is called propagation vector. And next we discuss about the finally properties of matter waves. So matter waves are nothing but particles. Particles are moving or associated with group of waves. So that is called matter waves. So simply matter waves means matter waves are formed due to the motion of the particles, due to the movement of the particles. That means these are not electromagnetic waves. This is a very important point. Matter waves are quite different. They are not matching to the electromagnetic waves. That means they are new kind of waves. And matter waves properties does not applicable when the particle is at rest. That means matter waves is a property suitable when the particles are moved in the form of waves. Otherwise, it is not applicable. That means when the particles are at rest, matter waves property does not exist. And next, if the mass of the particle is very less, then greater will be the wavelength associated with. That means as we know the expression lambda is equal to h by mv here. Okay. If m is the mass of the particle and lambda is the de Broglie wavelength, if mass is less, that means from this expression, de Broglie wavelength is inversely proportional to the mass of the particle. That means lighter the particle, lighter means less mass of the particle and greater will be the wavelength. And whereas smaller the velocity, of the particle, greater will be the wavelength associated with it. So again, the same relation. Wavelength is inversely proportional to the velocity. So if velocity is small, then wavelength is large. And the next property is the velocity of the matter wave depends upon the velocity of the material particles. So what are the material particles? Like electron, proton, neutron. And the velocity of the matter wave is more than the velocity of light. Actually, velocity of light is constant. That is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. That means the velocity of matter waves is more than velocity of light. So the final properties, matter waves are treated as a probability waves. Probability means it is a chance. So we cannot confirm the perfect properties, perfect wavelength, velocity, like the properties of the matter waves here. So it is treated as a probability. Probability means a chance. Okay. So this is about the today's session. We discuss about the what is the dual nature and what is the matter wave and the different forms of the de Broglie wavelength expressions. In the next section, we discuss about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Okay. Thank you to all.